Well, it wasn't the outcome I guess most people were rooting for, but I thought it was fairly predictable. The longer he golfed, the tougher the weather, the more he struggled. He was limping the entire weekend. I had Dustin Johnson, but I kind of felt like, when golfers age or they're injured, you get to the weekend, that's a lot of walking. It's a lot of shots. When I watched it, I thought, yeah, this is sort of what we were going to get. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really know. I mean, a guy coming off, it's one thing that we've seen him play with the back fusion and the bad knee. It's another thing to have an ankle shattered, right? I mean, any other sport, obviously the main team sports, but tennis, you name it, it's career over. I mean, he's got a rod through his ankle. He's just the will and determination. And he mentioned this, I think, a couple of days ago, that since he got out of the hospital bed where he spent 3 months, Colin, 3 months in a hospital bed.
That's insane.
And think about a guy like that who's just an alpha hard charger, never takes a day off in probably 30 years in his life, whether it's working out, playing golf, active. He didn't take a day off from out of the hospital bed till this week of just training, whether it was. And so he's like, some days were not as intense as others, but his drive to compete, this guy has more money. Can you imagine how much money he has in the bank? What he's accomplished, his fame, what's he doing this for? Right? Is it maybe his kids? Maybe he wants to see his Sam and Charlie, keep seeing him compete, but they got to see him a couple years ago win the Masters, right? His daughter just inducted him in the Hall of Fame. I'm fat. I know you are too. What drives humans, like Tom's healthy. Tom Brady's not getting touched. It's right. He's even said the game's never been easier. Tiger, I mean, what's he doing this for? His dad's gone. His kids saw him win. Like, is this is the way he's wired? He's just going to go down till he literally can't play anymore. I'm fascinated by Tiger Woods.
Think about this. So when I had my pulmonary embolism, I had a small blood clot, and it touched the nerve, rubbed against the nerve. So it's painful as hell. So when they let me out of the hospital after I talked my way out of it after 30 hours, I faked it.
Because you didn't want to stay there anymore.
I don't want to stay there.
Driving you nuts.
I was in incredible pain. Okay. That's 30 hours. How badly do you have to be hurt that Tiger Woods, a pro athlete, was not allowed out of a hospital for 3 months? I had a blood clot in my lung, and they let me out in 30 hours, and I was fine, but I was sore. And I mean sore, like it hurt to walk for like 4 days after, and I was allowed out. Like, I don't think people understand. I know exactly where his car flipped on Palos Verdes. I've driven around that corner. It's treacherous.
Yeah.
I'll say this, is that I really like how the Masters crowds and people treat him now. When Tiger first came, he was so dominant and so aggressive. I don't think a lot of older golf fans knew exactly how to handle him, right? He was fist pumping and swearing. I mean, he's so vulnerable now. Like, to me, he is so far and away the most popular golfer in America, right? Like, am I missing something?
No, I mean, I think he's this second half comeback of him winning the Masters a couple of years ago, and then him going through this. I think he's one of the most famous people in the history of American sports, right? I mean, Ruthian, Brady. I mean, he's on the short list, right? Obviously he's internationally known, but the comeback, and there's an element in a day and age where there isn't any mystery, right? We know everything about everyone. Most people in his shoes would have documented everything. There would have been YouTubes about his comeback. Tiger is very, very old school. He's not like he's 60. I mean, he's 46 years old. No one knew what he was doing. And up until about 10 days ago, it's like, yeah, he might play the Masters. But most athletes, we would have known this 3 months ago because they would have been posted on social media, training. No one knows anything with this guy. And the other thing, a little like Brady, but probably even closer to the vest, nothing gets out with Tiger. The message, Belichick's jealous of that. Nothing comes out of that circle, right?
Right.
And then it just flips, he's back. But the key word there is vulnerability. I think he's very relatable now. Because I think the one thing that any human can relate to is our parents and then our children. And at one point in our life, we're either one or the other. You're looking up to your parents or you have children. And his emotion when it came, he got inducted to the Hall of Fame, started crying with his mom, and his daughter inducted him. It's just, Kobe, I think, became a lot like that in those last couple of years of his life. And he just became like, God, I like this guy. He just became very, it's for an unrelatable human. It felt like he had some relatability to him.
Yeah. I don't know what's next for him. I mean,
this is probably it.
I was going to say,
holding on for dear life now.
Yeah, and he's an old 46.
He's weathered, Colin. I mean,
back fusion, torn ACL, life-threatening car wreck, global travel, family drama. Like Brady gets tackled for a living and is a significantly younger mid-40-year-old athlete.
Not even close. Not even close.
I mean,
honestly, you've met all these guys over the years. When you meet an NBA player from the 70s or an NFL lineman and you just watch them move, you're like, oh my God, how does this guy, an Al Attles or a Mean Joe Green, you see some of these guys. I remember the first time I met Mean Joe Green and just his gait, that's what Tiger feels like. He played in the NFL in the 70s when you're watching him move around.